I'm Isabel. I'm one of the organizers for the 1 Million Cups Dallas chapter. And you probably all know that there are several chapters within the Dallas Metroplex. I did want to announce real quickly, in case you are familiar with the Addison chapter, they're no longer running. So if you've ever gone to that chapter, no need to go there anymore. Come back to Dallas because we're here. We wish them well, and we hope that their community will come and join us here. So I also want to mention that you all should look out for our holiday schedule. We were not here last week, so many of you did show up and we weren't here. We do apologize if you didn't get that message. But look out for our banner on our website. It will list all the dates that we are not here. And our last day this year is December 12th. So hope you can join us for our last 2 sessions after this. So how many people are new here? Okay, good, welcome. Good. We like to have new people come all the time, so if you enjoy this experience, we ask you to invite someone else that you know that has never been here before, and keep coming. The more the more we have people coming back, the more we can get to know each other and really support each other in our businesses. That's what this is all about. So 1 Million Cups actually started 6 years ago out of Kaufman. We have 5 years up here. It's been 5 years for the Dallas chapter. We just celebrated a couple weeks ago. The purpose of it is for us to meet and hear about entrepreneurs' journey, the businesses that they're working on. We give each person 6 minutes to present their business, and then we have 15 minutes of Q&A. The Kaufman Foundation, if you're not familiar with them, they are an organization that is based in Missouri, and their mission is all about entrepreneurship. So I do encourage you to go to their website, kaufman.org. They actually have a fast-track program there for entrepreneurs to go through. It helps you with all the stages that you might have roadblocks. And they also give grants. I think they have 8 that they give each year. I don't know all the ins and outs about it, but their whole organization is all about what can we do to make sure that every single person has access to information to build their small business. And that's why 1 Million Cups exists as well. So thank you for helping us grow as a community. We have an app. We ask you to check in. If you haven't downloaded the app before, now's a good time to do it. It allows you to give feedback to the person who's presenting. So you check in that you're here, you see who else is here. If you don't get a chance to talk to somebody, at least you see there's a community member that you might be able to connect with through that app. And yeah, give your feedback to the presenters. They want to know what you thought and how they can improve, so that's a good place to do it. You can also meet them directly right after they present and share one-on-one with them. So I would like to welcome our first presenter on the stage. Just so everyone knows, we do time it, so we give 6 minutes. When we're at the 1 minute mark, Gigi in the front will show the presenter that he has 1 minute left, and then when he has 15 seconds left, and then she'll lead the clapping. And the clapping is not like, because we want him to get off the stage, we're clapping because he's reached his 6 minutes, and we're just trying to be fair for everyone to really get your message in as short as possible. So it's a difficult job to do, but it is being done. So Santana, we do want to welcome you to tell us about Keep Us Posted. In Dallas, we stand and we give a round of applause to welcome our both presenters. So Santana, welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. All right, my name is Santana Thrasey-Gill, founder of Keep Us Posted. As you can see here on the, so what we do, we're a business-to-business SaaS product, and we cater to nonprofit organizations. As you can see on the projector here, our mission is to create transparency. We're dedicated to helping organizations keep us posted. So when we say transparency, what we're speaking about in particularly is transparency within the process of donor giving as towards nonprofits and charitable organizations, which we just had a great day yesterday with Giving Tuesday. A lot of good money came about. So it should be a lot of missions being able to carry out their job, and that's actually a good time to be talking about where the money's going. So, all right, so you guys, myself, and the millions of people around the world who give to nonprofit organizations every year, we all have the same thing in common. We all want to know whether or not our dollar is truly affecting the causes that we champion with our giving. quick story. So a friend of mine, this is kind of the inception of how Keep Us Posted came about. A friend of mine, we sat down for lunch. We hadn't seen each other in years, and we were just going to catch up. This friend, she loves to travel. She travels for leisure, exploration, also to visit orphanages where she sponsors kids. So this particular experience she told me about was in the Philippines, and she fell in love with this kid. He was 10 years old. He has 2 sisters there, and you guys can imagine these kids come from horrible backgrounds, which leave them reserved, shy, standoffish. I didn't know that they actually had to agree to allow you to sponsor them. The kids have to agree to that. He was hesitant, but he did allow her to agree to sponsor him. Side note, while she was there, she also developed a relationship with one of the directors of the organization. And fast forward, she comes back home, back to the States, and she's sponsoring the child with money, with gifts, and she begins to hear back that her donations, or her sponsorship rather, has just done wonders for the child. He's now confident in class, he's raising his hand, he's more sociable, he's making A's, B's. Great stuff. While she's telling me this, I can see her glow. Like, I can see how excited she was. Excitedly, I mean, understandably so. Like, anyone who can make that impact from afar would, I mean, who can beat that feeling? The problem in that was she didn't get that information from the organization. I mean, here in the store, can you guess where she got the information from? It was the friend. It was the friend that gave her that information. The friend gave her access to the direct effect of her giving. So she could see exactly what her money, her sponsorship went towards, and the effect it had on the child. So that experience was unique, and it was an aha moment for us. And you know, even though that was an experience with an orphanage, the same thing is needed for all organizations, whether it's veterans groups, whether it's cancer situations, whether it's homelessness, churches with outreach ministries. That's the same thing that's needed. So switching over from the donor side, we started to think, okay, how do we help organizations create that transparency? So the answer to that question lies in that story. It's getting them the access to the direct effect of the giving. So if you're a nonprofit organization now, so you're a founder of that nonprofit, so whether you're just starting out and you have a few people working on your team and you're affecting change in the community, you need access to be able to leverage the content from your ambassadors out in the field. If you're a medium-sized organization and you have a few satellite communities with staff, with volunteers, be able to access that content as well. If you're an enterprise-sized organization and you have multiple in many states, communities and staff members and volunteers, accessing the direct effect of giving in all those supported areas is important for all of us to see that. That makes us repeat givers. That makes us not question. We have confidence, faith, trust in what you're doing with our funds. So, switch to my slides. Okay, so keep us posted. What we do, we help these organizations by helping them access. We're the first platform to help connect mission supporters with their beloved organizations and these organizations to their donors. We enable these organizations without hiring photographers and videographers to capture the essence of their mission in all of their satellite communities. Secondly, what we do, we help them to drastically reduce the time, money, and energy that it takes to capture and develop these stories so that they can share the impact that they're making on the world. All right, so real quickly to run through these slides, there are 10 million nonprofit organizations in the world, that's including NGOs. 89% of them utilize social media, so that leaves us with 8.9 million organizations as potential users of the platform. Multiply that by our first tier plan, which is $599 for the year. That gets us to the $5.3 billion as our total addressable market. Keep in mind, this is only factoring in one revenue stream. So that's not including advertising, that's not including anything else. All right, so basically what I said before, those differences in I guess the different territories or space that you need, access that you need as an organization determines our subscription plans from starting out to enterprise plans. Competitors, so just kind of overall over this. So all these indirect competitors are products that share a similar component of what we do, but neither one of them individually tailor their needs to what a nonprofit organization needs in order to And we're creating a product that not just create a product. We want to create the ultimate product for a nonprofit organization to better help them tell their stories and make their donors feel appreciated. All right, so starting out a new company, I'm looking for some interviewing opportunities right now. Jeremy Gasson works with me. You guys may know him, great guy. Myself, graphic design background. I also have experience bringing products to the market. This is one of our users right here.
Thank you so much, Santana. We will now open up the floor for questions. We have an eager question back there, but we always have a question that we asked first, which is, what can the community do for you?
So right now, I'm interviewing opportunities for, I would say, co-founders. I would say I'm looking for a co-founder, a technically sound co-founder who can help us bring our product back here to the States and own the product here, meaning that it was developed overseas internationally. Outside of that, we're also interviewing investment opportunities as well, and resources. Nonprofit organizations, we love to test the product with organizations who are very active on social media right now. So we find out first how they're currently capturing content and ask them to plug in what we do and see if we can help them reduce the time, money, and energy to do that.
Excellent. We'll go to our very first question.
Okay, so my name is Wyatt Dukemak. I was actually most eager and trying to be noticed because I was blocked by the camera here. So glad you saw me. And I actually had an opportunity in May of 2017 to consider investing in a company called KindLink. And KindLink's proposition was exactly what you talked about. So I think your claim, and I'm not challenging you on that, but I think it may be worthwhile you doing some research. Because as far as 2017, a company was thinking in this space. Their name is KindLink. Their CEO is Eskren Kerlev or something like that, so I can give you more details. I have all the documentation. So they played in exactly the same. However, I had the opportunity to invest with them, I did not. So I challenged them some on their business model. What is it exactly that you're proposing to nonprofits? Because if if I'm a nonprofit that's building wells in Africa, my progress, my dashboard looks different than a nonprofit that's helping homeless people to find shelter and food and sanitation and so on. So are you a SaaS where you provide the dashboard, or are you only an IaaS, for example, where you provide the hardware for the enterprise to design their own dashboard? You didn't mention that, so it would be interesting to look into that.
Sure, thank you for that information, and I'll also get the name of that organization as well from you. To answer your question, we're a SaaS product. So we want to give them the tools to be able to do that themselves, which is turning into more of a consultation type situation, because you're helping them understand that by utilizing story-driven video content, that's how you need to tell your story. That's how you develop stories, particularly for nonprofit organizations. It does.
By the way, it's not scalable. So that's the reason I was asking.
If you are going to be, given the diversity of the nonprofits, which translates into the diversity in the dashboard they need, you will become a bespoke consultant to each individually, which actually stands in the way of you scaling up your product. And I'm sure you know that. So, but if you abstract your offer down to a layer that can be more, accommodating agent to all of that, and then add on a flavor of consultancy, that may be a different business model.
Sure. Thank you for that information. I'll definitely consider that. One thing I would say to that is that I do believe, and I have noticed this with nonprofits I've been speaking to here shortly, and some are also using the platform as well, that the guard is switching to users who are more familiar. I mean, we see it right now on social media. Everyone's turning the camera on themselves and utilizing video and images without challenge. So, but the older guard is still, they're not comfortable getting in front of their camera. But as things progress, I do believe that consultation will be less necessary. Hopefully that answers your question.
So over here. Just quickly, I've been involved with several nonprofits. One went from 800,000 donations to over 300 million. It was kind of interesting watching the progress up there. Do you have existing nonprofits using the product right now? Can you tell us who they are?
Sure, sure,
That's the first question.
sure.
And then the next question is, how small, I mean, do you folks work with churches, temples, etc.?
I'm sorry, what's
Churches, temples, and
Yes,
things like
yes,
that?
yes.
Do you have any examples of folks that are using it right now?
Yes, yes.
What is it?
So one particular, there's a church is out of Louisiana. It's called Greater New Zion Baptist Church, and they're a small church, but they're already they have ambassadors in Haiti and also in Africa, and the need was evident with them because looking at their website, they have a nice website, but when you go to where the tab that says serve on the navigation, it's blank where it says, okay, showing us what you're doing in Haiti and in Africa, because they're still waiting on those representatives to come back to Louisiana to give a report of what's going on in those areas when they could be real time getting that content regularly and showing the people who are giving tithes and offerings is going towards those efforts more regularly. This organization here, as you can see the projector, the founders, Ms. Alexander, Anchor Soul is a nonprofit that they support women and families who are going through miscarriage and stillborn children. And in particular, they were great because speaking with them in my discovery call with them, they were using a lot of those other tools that we were talking about, Dropbox, Google Drive, at least attempting to get it. She was holding meetings with her teams, which are in Houston, Atlanta, Louisiana, and Kentucky. And she was holding meetings trying to get them all to use the same products, the same content. And she said, you know what, just forget it. It was too much getting everyone on the same page. So they needed a process to be able to do that consistently. Almost like sending an email. I can send an email without MailChimp. I can send a lot of emails without MailChimp. I can do a group email. But to send campaigns consistently and to edit them and make them pretty and to just do that on a consistent basis where I can free my time to do other things, I need a system to be able to just consistently get content from those areas, especially when you're talking about content that's delivered from you out in the field. It's different from developing and hiring designers to go in and what I do as a designer. Go ahead.
So I'm affiliated with the president of an organization that actually ministers to or helps Middle East gypsies, education, health, also some Christian work, that kind of thing. The challenge that we have is that the people that work there, if their faces are seen, and they can get killed, right? And so if your organization kind of would help us with ideas on how to get that word out without jeopardizing the lives of those with whom we work.
Sure. And that's a good point, good question, a good statement. That brings up a barrier that a lot of organizations are having usually, and this is becoming more prevalent now with video content and images. When people are taking all these videos and images, a lot of times they're not getting permission from those people who are in the content. And HIPAA is coming into play, if I'm pronouncing that right. It's coming into play where people are being sued and held liable for that stuff. So on our platform, that's one of the bells and wheels that we're adding to that, where you can actually get a signature release form on each piece of content, which is another layer of protection for the organization. But for that, where lives are in jeopardy, I definitely would say, that's where the consultation comes into place, where we can see where are opportunities where we can find wins, where we can display wins. Like if you're educating kids, if you could pull them off to the side and show those kids being educated, or show them making their A in class and being able to display that content without harm, of course, that would be the ideal way to do that. But there's many ways we can show you how you can get wins or display those wins and do that in a safe way. I'd love to sit down with you guys and find out how we can do that.
Good morning. I just really wanted to encourage you what you're doing, because you're bringing the qualitative to the quantitative. You're bringing the stories of transformation to what investors are looking at as dashboards and transactionals and metrics going up and down. But what donors want is what your friend experienced. And it's the stories of transformation. So you go, keep at it.
Thank you so
The
much.
question for you is, could you identify for us your prime target organizational candidate right now that really would take your startup to the next level?
Sure. Thank you for that. Thank you for the encouragement also. So I think prime, and I've been pushed to partner, or at least to align myself with the 3 biggest organizations that we would want to utilize our platform, and that would be United Way, it would be a Susan G. Komen, it would be like a Make-A-Wish Foundation also. Make-A-Wish, they use story-driven video content probably better than most because they capture every time the kid makes a wish. They capture when they bring in and actually satisfy that wish. And I think it's every 40 seconds or something, minutes like that, they're posting that content, which it shows, like you said, it gets to the heart of the matter. Did that answer your question? I feel like we got lost in the question. Okay. I do want to add to that. So one of the organizations that we work with, like you said, the transformation is For Love and Art. That's an organization that works with seniors, and that same barrier comes up where seniors don't have permission of their likeness anymore. And they're sitting there and they don't have a lot of interaction anymore. So this organization partners with art galleries to bring in presentations like this, but they talk about Van Gogh, Monet, and they show the paintings and just talk about colors. And it brightens up the seniors' days because they just get some interaction. One particular story, transformation, one of the women, one of the seniors, she was Russian, so she couldn't understand it, but she sat there and watched it. And when they expressed to her that she couldn't understand anything, it just so happened the volunteer who was presenting spoke Russian. And she began to translate for her, and it just brought a tear down to her eye. Those are the kind of wins, those are the kind of stories that, and they're just like every other organization, they're trying to get more volunteers to come in and present. They're trying to raise capital to do other initiatives, but they're not able to display those type of things, which would make people, that would ignite people to want to go in and do more. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that we have time for a few more questions. So if you have a question, raise your hand and we'll come around and bring you the mic.
I don't have a question. I just have a suggestion on another organization, the Boys and Girls Club. That would be an awesome way because you can actively see the kids like every day. Some kids don't have food at night. They only eat their meal at the Boys and Girls Club. And so that would be another one. And I have some interest there.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, we have a question in the back.
Hi there. So how does it actually work? You talk about your platform. So if I go to the Zion Church website, is what you have embedded in their page? Is it easily embedded with Wix and Weebly and all that kind of good stuff? Because driving people to your website is a whole different prospect than the church or whomever driving people to their website. And then if it's on their website, they can also have a donate button, which is huge too, and say, for $5 you can bring a smile to a child's face. So I just want to know that.
No, thank you so much for that. I was waiting on that question. How does it actually work? So, so what we do is, we don't actually, it's not consumer facing. So the general public is not coming to keep us posted. It's business to business. So only organizations would sign up on our platform. The organization itself would sign up on our website, which is our portal. On that portal, what they would do is, once they sign up, they're initially going to request a form or send a request to access content from all of their teams, all of their communities out in the field. And the second thing they do on that portal is they manage all the content that's being delivered back to the queue. So once they send out their request, what happens, there's an app that supports the web part of it. And on the app is where all the ambassadors out in the field, they download the app, they accept their request, and it initially drops them into video capture mode. And then they have a few themes in there to find out, okay, what type of themes can I put together. We don't just put them out there without anything. We give them some some things to be able to come up with, okay, what type of content should I be capturing on behalf of the organization? So once they have that app, they're capturing the content, they can add a caption to it, they can select the organization that it's going to, and then they choose to submit their story. That story comes directly, it doesn't save on their direct device, because that takes away from the organization's ability to control their own message. They're volunteering on behalf of that organization. All the content that they capture is on behalf of that organization. So that content is sent directly from that mobile device, from that app, to the portal, to the queue, where the organization have their admins in place where at their convenient time they get in there and they review all the content, make sure it aligns with their mission, is already branded with their logo and everything on it. And at that point they can add music to it, they can tailor it the way they want to, and then it's available to be shared on all of their channels, on social media, on one of our extended packages. That's where we can add, where they can actually do some integration, where they can send that feed of approved content directly to their website as well. So it's two pieces. The companion tool is the website and the app that work together. The app is for the people out in the field, the web is for the organizations. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Here. Congratulations on your app and your company.
Thank you.
A comment about founding a co-founder. I did my company for almost a year and a half, and now I have 2 other co-founders.
Okay.
So for me, what was super successful was to post on Angel List, just because kind of the people who visit those websites kind of have this same entrepreneurial mindset, and that's a good starting point, especially for a co-founder. The other thing is, are you a technical co-founder?
I'm sorry?
Are you a technical founder? Are you a programmer or developer or something like that?
I'm more of a visual person. No, I'm more of the, I'm more of a visual person now. So
Okay.
I need a technical person that works with me.
Okay, most technical founders, I'm an engineer, and most technical founders are going to ask you, it's hard to get them on board,
Mm-hmm.
but if you show them your progress, your goal, your clear, milestones, that's much easier to convince someone who's technical.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Excellent. That was the last question. Let's give you a round of applause. Thank you, Santana. So anyone, if you didn't get your questions in, that's okay. Santana's sticking around, so you can meet him afterwards. And I encourage you to do that. That was really good Q&A. Thank you. So this is a quick break that we have between presenters. Gives us an opportunity to let you know who is helping us make this happen. So we're thankful to the space that we're in. This is Capital Factory and the deck. Capital Factory is a for-profit business. They work with startups. They help to fuel the economy here in Dallas, and they originated in Austin. So they also help connect entrepreneurs with VC funding. They typically work with companies that are already well past MVP. And then we also have the deck. The deck has been our partner forever. 1 Million Cups launched out of the deck. And so I do want to welcome Jigna to the stage. She's the events director for the organization. They are a nonprofit. I think they'll always be our partner. So definitely, we always want you to know who else is here, and because you want to know the organizations that want to know you to help you. So Jigna, come on the stage and tell us a little bit about what's happening with the deck.
Thanks, Isabel. I'm Jigna. As Isabel said, I'm channeling her today with a scarf. I get inspired by her scarves every Wednesday morning. So I am the director of events and programs, and we here at Capital Factory, we partner with Capital Factory, and we also have a couple of other innovation hubs. One being in Addison, and we partner with the city of Addison at the Addison Treehouse. And we recently launched another innovation hub in southern Dallas at the Redbird Center, and that's our Redbird Entrepreneur Center. And we also have other plans in terms of our partnerships with other local leaders and organizations in the Metroplex. To get plugged in, please go on to deck.co and just sign up for our newsletter. The newsletter comes out every Monday morning, and it has a ton of information about events that are happening in the Metroplex. And that's not just events that are hosted by the deck. They're events by Capital Factory, they're events by other community organizations. and majority of these are free for you. So they're great resources, and we hope you get plugged in. And as Isabel mentioned, we are a nonprofit, and we're here to help small businesses grow and build up from ground up.
Awesome, thank you. And then we have our video production that is covered, sponsored by someone on our team, Michael K. Bruno. He's not with us today, but Michael Bruno has left his equipment with us to make sure things happen. And also thank you to Chris, who's he's handling video today, so I guess you're our video sponsor today. Chris has a company called Incredible Sounds. And I want to thank Gig Wage. We usually have Craig, who's the founder of Gig Wage, with us. Do you want to say a word for Gig Wage? Can you? Yeah. This would be Craig's partner. Please join us. I mean, tell us what you'd like to tell us. You don't have to come on stage if you don't want to. It's your call.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Gerard Osborne. I'm the Chief Design Officer for Gig Wage. And what Gig Wage is a platform that allows businesses to actually pay contractors. A lot of us have that interaction with contractors, and a lot of times we either pay them via Cash App or whatever, PayPal, wherever it is. But Gig Wage gives you that secure place where you can pay the contractor and track all of that, and to be able to use it as a tax write-off and things like that. And give the contractor an easy way to track all the payments that they have coming in. So that's Gig Wage. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have interacted with a lot of contractors, and if you have any questions, you can just come and ask.
Thanks for getting coffee for us. I'm a little bit perked up because of you now. And Curtain Treats joins us quite often. They've been around for a long time. They're not here today, unfortunately, but they have these really incredible treats. Sort of like it is a pastry. And yeah, it's a dough sweet pastry. And High Brew has provided us with some cold brew. So if you'd like to try one, please take one. It's all yours. We also want to tell you about Dallas Startup Week. So Gigi, do you mind coming up and telling us about that? I want to make sure everyone hears about this before, at the end, if people dash out, we might miss this announcement. So I need you to hear this, please. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Gigi. I wanted to invite all of you to be a part of Dallas Startup Week. It's April 1st through the 5th. It's a free week-long program, but I'm asking you now if you'd like to be a track captain, a volunteer, or just anything like that, help out in any way that you can, join a committee. You can go to DallasStartupWeek.com, and there are speaker applications, track captain applications. There are 18 tracks this year, so there's something for everyone from real estate to insurance to tech. There's something for you, so I invite all of you to help us out with Dallas Startup Week.
Awesome. Okay, so now it is time to welcome our next presenter to the stage, and we will stand up. You probably could, your bones or the blood flow in your body could probably use a little bit of energizing right now anyway. So if you join me in welcoming to the stage Shane, founder of The Match Artist.
Hey everyone, check. Hey everyone, my name is Shane. I'm a volunteer here at 1 Million Cups, and I'm also the founder of Midwest Streams. We're a software company that helps funeral directors webcast their services. So far, we've connected over 500,000 people to a funeral they may have missed. But that's not what we're going to be talking about today. Today, I'm going to be telling you about how I fill my nights and my weekends with my side project called The Match Artist. I'm going to start telling you a study that OkCupid did. On their own platform, they researched and found that 8 out of 10 women, when looking at a profile, find it unattractive. So that means if you're an average-looking guy on Tinder or some sort of online dating platform, you're probably not going to get any matches as only 2 women are swiping right on you. So I'm going to show you one of these average-looking guys. This is Graham. He was not going to have any matches with this photo, and then he hired us to take better, higher quality photos. These are the photos we took of him, and from there, he's been getting a lot more matches. See, I don't think that 8 out of 10 men are unattractive. I just think that 8 out of 10 men suck at taking pictures. So how do men currently fill up their current dating profile? Well, the first option is they go to their Facebook, they scroll through the photos, they upload them, and then they realize that every single photo of them is holding some sort of dead animal. Or number 2 is they're like trying to take a dreaded selfie. For some reason, girls are really good at this, but us guys, we suck at it. It's so bad. We're like, so that is why me and my friend created The Match Artist. an online dating profile photography service that is 100% catered to making you look good online. So what does consist of a photo? What are the elements of a good photo? Well, first off, it can't be blurry like this. And you need a good variety. So your profile should consist of you doing things that you enjoy doing. So if you like going biking and hiking, you should be doing those things in your profile, showing who you are before the girl even reads your bio. Second, you want to show confidence. Some people are really good at this, while other people just they're not so good at it. This is why in our program, a big part of it is facial coaching. We want to teach you how to look good at the camera. And finally, being attractive really, really helps. Fortunately, you have a lot more control over your attractiveness than you think you do. All right, so what does our process look like? Well, when you sign up for a shoot, we enroll you in an email course. This email course gives you daily homework assignments. It's like, hey man, maybe you should work out today. Or here's some fashion tips. Really get you looking your best for your shoot date. Then finally, on the discovery call, this is where I learn everything about you. You tell me who you are, what you like doing, and we really design your shoot all around this. So if you tell me you're a really outdoorsy person, well, guess what we're doing? First, we're going hiking, and then we're going to do some yoga in the park, maybe rent a kayak for the day, and then finally, we'll wrap it up with some swimming. All right, so after we do the discovery call, I tell you to bring your favorite items. Again, really showcasing who you are in this profile. And then, this is again where you meet with our photographer as soon as you arrive on the day of. You meet with the photographer and you guys will stand in front of a mirror and really practice your facial expressions because it's all in the eyes and it's all about looking good. And then again, with this facial expressions, you can use this to take better photos on your own. So, after you've learned how to look good at the camera, this is where the fun happens. We start taking photos, I'm coaching you, we got the music cranking, we're really showcasing who you are, or like I like to say, we document you having fun. So I want to show you an example. This is James, he's a 55-year-old computer programmer, and he really likes watching sports on Sundays, he enjoys cooking, and he enjoys playing guitar. Just by checking out these pictures, we can get a really good sense of who James is and what he does to fill his time. Now I want to be crystal clear that our core values is number one, honesty. We never, under any circumstances, show deceptive angles. We never shoot pictures of you doing things you would normally be doing. And our number one rule is we never use any sort of Photoshop. The only thing we do is cropping and lighting adjustments. So, finally, that brings us to our team page. Me and my friend Nick started this company about a year ago. He's a professional wedding photographer, and he's been pestering me for a while, like, hey, we should start a business. And nothing's really shaken up until last December. I was like, hey man, crazy idea. What about pictures, but only for Tinder? And he's like, I'll give it a try. So since then, we've shot over 40 guys and have done $20,000 in revenue, which isn't so bad, meaning it's only a side project and we're in year one. And before I wrap up this presentation, I want to show you just one more guy who wasn't getting many matches on Tinder with an average photo. Yep, that is me. And no one was swiping right on that photo. So before the match house was created, Nick took me in. He's like, yo man, we gotta get you some better pictures. So he took pictures of me doing things I enjoy doing, taught me how to look at the camera. We uploaded these to Tinder. It was a great couple of years. And then it all came to an end last May. This is where I met my lovely girlfriend Molly. We've been dating ever since, and we owe it all to the match artist. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Shane. That was a wonderful presentation. We'll open up the floor for questions, so please wait for the microphone before you ask your question. But our first question to you is always, what can we as a community do for you?
Sure. So first one's really easy. If you know anyone who needs some online dating profiles, send them my way. The second one is like, we do have a couple of competitors, and they seem like they're always getting stories written about them in the New York Times and fun things like that. I just want like an article in D Magazine or Dallas Morning News, so if anyone knows knows anyone there, send them my way. And that's really all I need from you.
Excellent. We can get you on the 1 Million Cups Twitter feed.
Nice.
A couple comments and suggestions, and then I'll go for questions. One is on your slide, you should put your website on each page, because I was actually looking for that. I said, I got to take it from the side there. First comment is, being a long-time married guy, those older guys with Facebook profiles, I'm always using my dog, because he takes better pictures than me. Have you considered going outside the dating world for these pictures?
Yeah, we've looked at it. It's possibly in the future, maybe like, I've always thought like, take the same philosophy, like instead of just the boring pictures and bring it maybe to the business world or whatnot. But right now, there's plenty of single guys, so we're not going to change our marketing.
Focus is good. Second is, explain to me what your marketing distribution plan is, how you're getting out to these guys.
Sure. Computer programmer by trade, so SEO is my game. We've been really trying hard to rank high for like Dallas photographer, Dallas dating photographer, and then of course the Instagram and Facebook and the social media aspects.
One last question, are you photographers, are they all contract labor, or how do you guys do that?
No, it's only me and Nick, and I actually don't even photograph. I'm really bad at it, so Nick's doing the photographing, and I'm giving you the coaching and the rah-rahs. It's looking good.
How do you plan on scaling that?
What's that?
How do you plan on scaling that to be a bigger company?
Scaling's a hard question. I knew someone was going to ask this, and it's a little bit harder because my biggest problem right now is this is not my full-time job. And I think a lot of people, when they're starting a side project, it's like, yeah, I'm going to quit my job and tell the boss to shove it, I'm going to go work on this thing. But I already got to do that. I cannot leave my current full-time position as my other company because I have investors and stakeholders. So I'm really kind of also looking for maybe a management team or someone that can kind of come in and make those hard decisions for me so they can scale it while I can still stick with my funeral business.
Hi. Thank you is the first thing I'll say, because I've been dating for about a year now, and thank you. It's nice to actually see the individual doing what they love, and there are a lot of dead animals in men's hands out there, so it's nice to see that. I definitely think there's a market for it. I have a couple of questions. How much do you charge?
Sure. We have a couple different packages.
Okay, sorry, I missed that.
Oh, no, this is bonus slide.
Okay, and do you see a lot of concerns around the cost?
No, not really, especially kind of once we started moving away from the super young guys, because if you're a young guy, you don't need the help. But the 25 to 40-ish guys, they seem to kind of have disposable income that it's not a problem.
Yeah, there are some dating apps that are specific to sort of the elite singles is one of them. I think that could be a potential partnership for your group. And in terms of scalability, have you thought about sort of like a Uber style photo matchup with the requester?
Possibly. The photos we're really trying to nail in like what makes us us. So we gotta figure out that first. We're getting close, but I really want to like make sure that our photographers are well trained and we have a good set of training materials. So we gotta kind of figure that out on our own first.
And then last question is, are you also going to be targeting females?
Yes, we do shoot women. However, if you remember where I talked about 8 out of 10 find men unattractive, the reverse is guys find 8 out of 10 women attractive. So they don't quite have these same problems that we do, so that's why it's completely marketed towards guys. But if you do land on our page, we'd be happy to shoot with you. It's just a little different process.
All right, we have a question. Jimna asked 15 questions and took everybody's question.
Hi, so as we all know as men, a lot of things that really do make us look a little more appealing is clothing. So is there anything that you actually do around wardrobe or hairstyling and things like that?
Yeah, that's kind of in the email course. We kind of, each day you get a little homework, and one day is like, yes, today's the fashion day. Here's kind of like what we recommend for guys of your statue. Here's some store recommendations, and then, here's our favorite barbers in Dallas. So kind of day by day, we just break down a topic.
Hi, so actually I have two questions now because of something you just said. So the first question is, I'm still trying to figure out where to go to get this for my own business, but have you thought about advertising on the apps? You know how you see those ads in like Tinder and OkCupid and stuff like that? I think that would be a good idea because that's where the people are that need it. And like she said, thank you because.
Yeah, we've looked into it. Unfortunately, with Tinder, they do have it's like a $500,000 to $1 million minimum to run the advertising on their platform. So that's not quite. Yeah, Facebook's great, right? You can advertise with $1, but Tinder's just not there yet. You're the Tinder sales representative, and you just don't have that cash at this point in time.
My other question,
Is it matchartist.com?
Yes, thematchartist.com. If you just Google the match artist, it should pop right up.
Now, back on your process slide. So,
okay.
So, I mean, my question was, so it's not just like someone calls you and says, want some good photos, and then the next day you're doing it? I mean, you go through this process?
Yeah, that's kind of, again, a tricky problem. We do have the ability to book online, and if you sign up to book the next day, you'll get kind of an email that's like, hey, would you want to book in 2 weeks instead so you can enroll in the email course? If they say no, then we just shoot them everything, and they got a lot of homework to do that night. But if it's possible with your schedule, we definitely like waiting the 2 weeks, but hey man, if you want to come and give us your money tomorrow, we'll also take that as well.
So I have a question about metrics. Have you tracked the results? Gotten kind of the before and after from the guys whose pictures you've taken, and also have you also tried the phone interview with women? So I would think that you would get different answers you would get different answers from me than a woman would get answers from me when it comes to this kind of thing. So have you tried it with women? Because I actually have two friends who kind of had this idea, which I'm sure 1 million women have this idea, but nobody actually turns it into a business, so congratulations. But have you thought about, and have you tried doing this stuff with women as well as with men?
Sure. So kind of two questions in there. The first one is how do we track results? And that's really challenging. There's so much that goes into the whole Tinder and match algorithms. And you get this ELO score, and it's like, hey, we think you're this attractive. And that's really challenging to beat. So one thing is we recommend clearing your just deleting your accounts. You start with a fresh score. The other thing is depending on who you are, we might not actually help you get more matches. We might just help you get better matches. So that's why we really try to find out who you are. We had one client who's really into shooting, so he had a gun in his profile, and some girls were if she's gonna swipe left on you anyways, because that's probably not the girl you want to date. So it's really just trying to find out who you are and get better matches. As far as tracking, the best we can do is we upload it to a site called Photo Feeler, where people vote on how attractive you are. And we have seen about a 20% increase in scores for our photos versus the ones they provide to us.
I had two thoughts in terms of target market. We are in Oaklawn, so the LGBT market, I'm not sure how you metric that, but start with the voice and go from there. And then middle-aged guys who are actually in relationships but have stopped trying. you know, and like maybe need to renew and revive that relationship. So maybe like marriage counselors or relationship therapists and counselors would be a good, you know, partnership for you. They could send their clients to you to get them kind of, okay, let's put some effort back into this relationship. So.
Okay, that's an interesting. We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, tons of videos. I don't know if you know who Peter Harley is.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, okay. Well, he's, for those who doesn't know him, he's one of the most famous and prolific portrait photographer. 90% of models and, you know, actors in LA and Hollywood shoot with him. And what he did was he created this kind of academy where other photographers get kind of their certified, you know, seal, and they do portrait photography, and he gets a kind of, you know, franchise in his brand. So that's something that could help you to have other photographers and kind of do the same process, right? Kind of they are usually with you, you get a cut, and he get clients and exposure. So that's one way to scale it. The other thing is the quality of the photos that you show is great, you know, great quality. But again, if it's only one guy shooting 3 or 4 people a month, it's not that hard to achieve, right? And the other one is pricing. Pricing is exactly the same as any other photographer shooting at least in that market. So there's nothing really there that makes you, at least as I see it, to have an edge in your service. Basically, as I see it, especially if you're promoting an SEO as data photographer, you're competing with all the 100 super talented data photographers that are doing the same to get some, you know, food on Instagram or something like that. I do like the focus that you guys have. But, you know, for me, my concern would be, okay, how do we make the process much easier? Facial coaching, you know, you go to YouTube and you have 1,000 videos, you know, it's possible for me because the face I have, but they teach you how to look better, right? So, how to make the process shorter and how to scale, that would help me also.
Sure, so I don't think I'm ever going to be the type of person to compete on pricing. I'm going to always compete on being the best. So I'm okay with our pricing being quite a bit higher than our competitors. Also, we did just have someone fly in from Minneapolis who's kind of like we're getting guys to fly in for this service. So I think that our message is really resonating with the guys. So my main focus is just making sure that Nick's shooting every single day of the week. And kind of once that's happening, I think that's at a good point where we'll try to figure out how to scale this out. And until then, I'm just going to work on figuring out how we can be the best, and then making Nick so this is his completely full-time job.
Okay, so one last question for you guys. I'm not sure. Have you considered of like partnering with Bumble? I know that the Dallas branch is like brainstorming for like events in the spring of 2019. And this is like definitely something that is up their alley, where it's like Bumble photography party or something like that.
Yeah, they're based out of Austin, and we'd love to get in touch with them. I just know some of these big giants, like we try to reach out to them sometimes. It's very hard to accomplish that, but we'd be more than happy to explore that avenue.
I'm sorry, Linda, we have time for one last question.
Hey, so what happens if you schedule a shoot and it's raining?
Someone wants to outside. So if you schedule a shoot and it's raining, especially like if you're the type of guy who flew all the way in, this one right here where the guy's drinking a beer, that's actually when it's raining. So we have a lot more control over our environment than we think we do. And if it is just pouring, that's where we kind of just hit the drawing board the day of the shoot. We're like, all right, how can we make it work with the rain? And we get this cool guy, this really cool shot.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. That was great. That was such a fun presentation. So this is the end. If you haven't checked in already, please go ahead and do so. And this is the time that you can leave your feedback as well. That feedback only, or that feedback app is only good for the next, I think, maximum 24 hours. So you're best to just do it now. I also want to mention, I didn't mention it earlier, the Frisco chapter has moved locations. They're no longer at Legacy West, they're now at Legacy North. brand new location of WeWork, so you are welcome to go and check them out. They've got some cool things going on over there as well. And if you would like to do a tour of this space with Capital Factory, Oren is here, right here giving a wave to you all. I guess he'll probably do a tour in 5-10 minutes or so. Okay, just find him, he'll be around here, and he'll take you upstairs and let you know a lot more about what they can do to help the entrepreneurial community. Anything else we want people to know about? I'm going to ask you guys some questions, actually. Is there anyone here that's looking for someone in particular? Like you're looking for a freelancer to help you with marketing? Or okay, YL, can you tell us what you're looking for?
I'm actually looking for our startup for somebody who can enjoy working and writing an algorithm for machine learning and AI. It is something that we are pivoting into as a startup, and we want to try. It will be an exciting opportunity in an exciting field of video recognition. So if you know of anybody who is interested in this opportunity, you can reach out to me. I can give you my card, and you can have them get in touch with me.
Okay, and his name is YL. Anyone else got anything else going on? If you're hiring or you're looking to be hired by someone, this would be the time. It's a great opportunity so that you can make sure you meet the right people here.
Hey, I'm Lindy Chapman, and I'm looking to connect with real estate agents that are doing things differently. Also, anyone in the startup world of real estate that is disrupting it and making it more consumer friendly.
Very good. Yes! There's another mic right behind you. Monica will give it to you. Perfect. Thanks, Monica.
Good morning, my name is Van and I work for Keystone. We provide capital for companies, so if somebody's need that, and also part-time CFO for financial management.
So are you looking for startups to work with?
Correct.
And those
yes.
startups will be they need funding, or what?
Right, companies will need capital
Okay.
or financial management.
Can you tell us a little bit about the criteria?
Well, it's individual.
Or I guess
we
it's
can
unique,
get,
yeah.
We can get financing at very good terms.
Okay, great. I'll pass you the mic.
Hi, my name is Ken, this is Darren, and we're affiliated with Sync Life, which is a collaborative community for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs. And so if you know anybody who particularly is in the very early stages of getting going and trying to connect with other nonprofits and social entrepreneurs, faith-based or otherwise, we'd love to connect with them. It's synklifecoworking.org.
Brilliant, thank you. So you guys are welcome to stick around in this room and speak with each other, have more coffee. Oren has a quick thing to say about Capital Factory.
And hey guys, I'm Oren. I'm the memberships coordinator here at Capital Factory. So if we're going to be taking a tour at 1020, if this is your first time here, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about the startups here, or co-working, or accelerator, please come here at 1020. I'll be happy to give you guys a tour and answer any and all of your questions. Thanks guys.